Good morning. How did you get on yesterday with the English title, relegation battles and the Champions League? Not the most profitable night for me, but not a big loss either. I would have made a lot more. I gave a couple of calls for lay the draw second half in the Salford match at 1-1 and the Barnet match with 17 shots off target for Barnet and the carrot of 50 plus points if they get the win. Both of those did produce a second half goal, but I like to wait a lot later in the match to play. So I missed those two opportunities. This was a vitally important three-pointer for both of these two, but they couldn't end that draw. Middlesbrough stumbling against the bottom three. Leicester. I stayed in for the win. I could have cashed out at the 1-1. This is how I like to set things up in the match odds. Give myself a small loss on the draw to tempt myself to stay in for the win, particularly with a whole second half to go. But quite clearly, it's desperation stakes now for Leicester. Pick up points, and they caught a Middlesbrough who have started now to return to their inability to score 2 goals. Delighted with this call because Bodo scored 2 consecutive goals. This was the only real value I could see at that Bodo lead, is to lay Bodo Glimt in the to qualify market at 1.14. Now, if Inter Milan scored the next goal and got a 2-1 lead, that would start this to qualify sweating. But if the worst was to come to the worst, that's my maximum liability. So delighted with that, really, making the right choice. Does expose Inter Milan a little bit, though. They should not be conceding 5 goals to the Norwegian champions. There were, as ever, some other opportunities for trades. Desmond Tutu here at Hull and Derby. Swansea equaliser against Preston. Looking for that late lay the draw. West Brom and Charlton didn't come in. Southampton reverting suddenly to 3+ goals again. That odds on at home. Accrington and Barnet, as I say, a huge number of shots off target for Barnet. And you'll note, look at the difference the 3 points has made to Barnet. It's the vital 50-point barrier. This is the only way in to what's remaining of the playoff places. So that's what I'm talking about, the huge motivation. Look at Salford as well. 4 consecutive defeats now. Can you imagine where they'd be without those defeats up here? They are still alive, Salford, but something is going seriously wrong. Laying the draw in that match, again, they will go top 7. Laying the draw is a neutral play. Shrewsbury got the goal second half, which has shot them up from 35 to 38 and a degree of safety now. Only 2 places, thankfully, for relegation in League 2. So let's have a look on to today's trading angles. Well, Millwall against Birmingham should have you on the back foot already. But looking at the standings, how crucial is a win at this stage of the season for these two sides? Well, Birmingham find themselves in 9th place. And again, it's that important 50-point barrier with a win today. That would be absolutely crucial for them. Millwall will remain in the top 6. But can you imagine 59 points with a win? They'll be knocking on the door of the 60-point club, which is your way out without going through the playoffs. Absolutely crucial that both of these two sides take points off each other. This is your perennial take points off Sheffield Wednesday match for Norwich, who are in a spot of good form. 3 wins in 5 has shot them up the table. They could break the 40-point barrier with a win today. Sheffield United against Coventry. Again, it's another one like the first match, 2.5 the favourite. Very tough to unpack. Sheffield United find themselves mid-table. We'll go to 49 with a win. And with 54, the entry point to the playoffs. 3 points is crucial for the Blades today. Coventry, of course, will retain top spot, but more crucially, could put 11 points between themselves and Ipswich in third place with a win today. They are not at their best away from home. Stoke and Oxford. Oxford break the 30-point barrier with a win, which will be crucial to their survival. Stoke City mid-table mediocrity will get to 49 and a top 10 berth with a win today. Crucial for all sides, really, in the English Championship. Atalanta against Dortmund. It's all down to first leg results, isn't it, this Champions League? So let's have a look at them. Well, it's a 2-0 Dortmund lead from the first leg. Atalanta must score the first 2 goals. But you saw with Leverkusen yesterday, engineering a 0-0. Dortmund don't need to win. They just need to keep Atalanta from scoring 2 goals. Juve against Galatasaray should have banker material written all over it. 5-2 Galatasaray from the first leg. Now, if I was expecting 3 goals from Juventus, their odds would be a lot shorter than 1.48. Juve must score the first 3 goals. They must score before half-time, unlike Inter Milan yesterday. Paris Saint-Germain against Monaco. It's a 2-3 lead for Paris Saint-Germain. And Monaco, I think, their chance of getting through was really at home rather than away. Real Madrid and Benfica, the special one, is bang smack in there. 1-0 down to Real Madrid. And already, if you remember that famous win, they do have the beating of Real Madrid. Let's have a look at the head-to-heads. The most recent one with that famous goalkeeping win. 4-2 Benfica. So they do have it in them. 2026, that's the most recent one. While it's a 1-goal deficit, Benfica are still alive. There is a touch of that racist element from the first leg that could see cards get involved this evening, and what could be a tetchy one. So just be careful with that. I would like Real Madrid to get carded. What the special one's going to do this evening, it's highly likely he's going to be aiming for a shutout and a 0-1. Or is he going to do that 4-2 and just keep attacking? Attack. Swiss Super League. Winterthur are bottom of the Super League. Thun are top. So a degree of banker material about that one. Quetta and Cordoba is far too tough to call. 2.5 the favourite. So it's a bit of a lukewarm evening tonight. I might be up and about for you. It's not the most compelling coupon on the planet. Not too many matches either. This is Quetta. Where are they? Quetta and Cordoba. Well, Cordoba need points. 3 takes them into the top 6. Quetta will break into the 41 points and have a shot. So this is a match where Quetta must take points off Cordoba in a playoff 6-pointer. So it's a mixed bag this evening. We've got 1, 2, at least at 2.5 the favourite, 2.4 the favourite, 3 at 2.5 the favourite. Odds on favourites, you'll be looking solidly at Galatasaray with a 3-goal deficit. Juventus, with a 3-goal deficit to start the scoring in the first half. Paris Saint-Germain, well, there's only 1 goal in it. These two know each other very well, but the class should tell. It really should. And we're bang smack in the special one puzzler. Is it going to go for the jugular like he did in that 4-2? Or is he going to just play the 0-0, try to nick a 0-1, take this to extra time, something like that? And Atalanta must score first. So I'll be seeing members of FootballTradingProfits.com on Telegram later on. It's a bitty coupon this evening. There might not be much this evening. we will play it by ear. So, like I did with Bodo Glimt, there might be some value to be had in the rather unique to qualify market, which is live, and it was liquid. That could give you an angle in rather than the match odds and anything else if you want to keep your liabilities low. Just with a little bit of time on our hands, this is oddschecker.com. Go to football accumulators, over and under 2.5 goals. Anything under 1.6 should normally signal the potential for goals, particularly second half goals. This is interesting, isn't it? 1.6 for over 2.5 goals. Not suggesting a 1-0, suggesting more like it's going to be the 4-2 that we saw 2 matches ago, 2 head-to-heads ago. 1.48, of course, reflects Juventus' need for 3 goals. Why do I look at these shorties? 1.6 and lower. Well, let's take a look. This is a record of these 1.6s and lowers. You can already see the massive Y in over 1.5 goals. That might give you an angle in. Okay, look at the amount of Ys. It's very short odds over 1.5 goals. So delaying could be a good trading angle there. Wait 20 minutes and it still comes in. 20 minutes, still comes in. Half an hour, still comes in. So these are called bet and go ideas. The idea being is to create a bet and go strategy where you back in a specific market. For example, 4.5 goals doesn't occur that often when over 2.5 goals is 1.6 odds and lower. That could be an interesting trading angle. First half goal after 20 minutes. This is delaying to create value. I'm going to increase to half an hour as well. And then I'm going to color code it by half time. Because you can see, looking at this column here, 1.6 and lower over 2.5 goals. There's a lot of second half goals involved, isn't there? Almost consistently so. How do we make a profit from second half goals? Answers on a postcard, please, or leave a comment below this video. Thank you very much to Guy Briggs as well for doing some work analysing these for me. Much appreciated. Anything else which stands out? First half goals over 1.5 goals. Is it consistent enough? I don't know, but over 1.5 goals for me. 20-minute break and a second half goal. Whenever you go to Odds Checker and look at these 1.6 favourites and lower. The corollary to this is looking at over 2.5 goals over evens. That suggests the market is, well, split. Millwall and Birmingham. Even Stevens, effectively. It has to be an over round. That's why you're not getting even. But we've got Stoke and Oxford 2.3. That's down to Oxford's 0-0 habit. 3 0-0s in the last 7 matches, I believe. So over 2.5 goals at odds of 2 or higher. Any patterns with that? Well, yet again, the 0-0 is a rarity. You can see that. Is there any way that we can exploit that? Again, I've recorded the timing of the first half goal and I've put in light blue when the goals come in the second half, because that could give an angle in. Both teams to score. You see a whole raft of red, but is that going to be consistent enough? We've got loads and loads of green on the over 1.5 goals as well. So I need to find some consistency. It might come in the half-time market. Look at the amount of maybe nil-nils that end in the first half, consistently so. That could provide an angle in, couldn't it? The amount of goals you see before half-time in matches where the over 2.5 goals is even Stevens. Then we've got a whole raft of nil-nils here. So plenty of investigating for me to do. Anything that stands out for you, just glimpsing this. Anything we can exploit. Second half goals, perhaps. If you've got any ideas, let me know. Match results and both teams to score. Anything with a 9+ in it gets my attention. Normally suggests that one of these two sides could score 3 goals. Let's bang on the button with Juve, of course. So let me show you. Match results and both teams to score above 9. What patterns are we seeing here? Quite a decent amount of over 2.5 goals. But I like this 3-1 scoreline. It's available at 20-1 or higher. It does occur a lot. So what I'm focusing on with this one, match results and both teams to score when one of the results is above 9, is we might see both teams to score and we might see a 2-1 or a 3-1. Look at the amount of both teams to score matches there are. So if I can solve this, we can get ourselves some nice bet and go strategies to go along with our trading. Particularly useful in a day like this today where the coupon doesn't look that hot with those 2.4 the favourites. So plenty to think about. 2-1 crops up a lot. 3-1 crops up a lot. If they crop up with enough frequency and at big enough odds, we might have ourselves a correct score angle in. So again, if you've got any ideas, both teams to score or match results and both teams to score 16 or higher, let me know. Backing the 0-0 in the half-time market. This is a simple strategy. We're looking at the shortest draw odds of the day. Won't be really good qualifiers today though, will there? Because it's 3.4, the shortest odds on 3 occasions. That's a rarity. Tend to see a lot of 0-0s at half-time here, and there's usually just one better day, which I like with this. You can see the amount of 0-0s. If they come frequently enough, we've got Fibonacci staking to help us profit from that, because you're going to get, we should be expecting to get over evens for backing 0-0 in the first half market. You can see the amount of 0-0s there are. I can look at it from other avenues as well, the both teams to score angle at full time. The second half goal angle yet again pervades, but I haven't been recording score lines. The draw, given the fact we're laying the shortest draw price of the day, how often does the draw occur, and can that be a trading angle? I think it might be. Don't forget, you don't need a draw in 90 minutes. You just need the hint of a draw as a trader. So you can cover these 0-0s and lay the draw. So that's an angle. I think the draw angle might be a good angle, and the backing 0-0 at half time might be a good angle as well. Lastly, this is using the same markets, but looking at the shortest price home favourite at odds nearest to 2. That would be Millwall today. That would be Atalanta in the Europas. And again, this is a simple set of recording. It's the half-time score and it's the full-time score. What I'm also looking at is the half-time, full-time. I've seen consistently that the draw is the shortest odds available. Is that exploitable long-term for us by laying the shortest odds in that half-time, full-time score market? The amount of time it doesn't come in is impressive. Will it produce us value? But then we're getting a little bit of a drift here with these coming in a little too frequently. But if they're 0-0s, then no problem. This, not really a tradable market. That's the problem with that. So if you've got any ideas, or if you'd like to see these spreadsheets, let me know. I'm going to get AI working on it, but as you can see, day after day, I'm filling it with results. So see you later. Got to get before the 20 minutes.